Howdy folks, Max Caveman here, bringing you to the true ending of my Brilliant Stars case break, the breakdown. So, this is mainly for people that want to just see what I got in total, instead of having to watch someone open all of the packs. So let's get to it, starting with the Holo Rares. Now, most people do not count Holo Rares in their recaps or counts of pulls. However, I do, for the simple fact that Pokemon does. You get a black border code card or the old green and white code card for holos. Therefore, the Pokemon Company still considers holos to be a pull that is in a pack. So that is the only reason why I count the Holo Rares as well. So starting off with, we get 4 copies of Moltres. Not that bad. Nice that I got a full playset. And we have another full playset of Infernape. That's actually quite nice, getting that, because sometimes the Holo Rares are really good cards that you may want to use. However, you simply just can't because you don't have the quantity, because Holo Rares were so, well, rare. And continuing, we still have 4 copies of Empoleon from this. However, that Empoleon was very common for me. I've got another one just sitting off to the side, which was from the Elite Trainer box opening, so they are, I feel like, the most common Holo Rare. But we have 3 copies of Torterra. Don't get a full playset of all of the final stage starters. Then Some People's Gods, the Bibarel. We have 4 copies, making up a full playset. Moving on to Dusknoir, which has a full 5 copies. This also had a alternate art in the Trainers Gallery, so that is a good thing to know. We've got 4 copies of the Garchomp, which is nice. I'm actually surprised with this. I got 4 copies of Lucario. I swear I saw that quite often. But then 3 regular holos of Boss's Orders and Professor's Research. A lot of these cards, well, all of these cards you can get as reverse holos. So if you are wanting some, that may be an easier way to get it. Next, moving on to main set Vs. So these are specifically all the V Pokemon that are in the main set. So we've got 2 copies of Zarude and 1 Shaman for grass types. I think I got every V, at least 1 copy of every V, which is a bit annoying, because they are getting a lot of Vs now, so getting 1 copy means that I would have to, in theory, buy 4 cases just to guarantee the full playset, which can get quite expensive. But moving on, we have 1 Entei, 1 Charizard, sadly, which sucks missing out on pack artwork cards. But we got 2 copies of Simisear. I actually quite like the idea of using this Simisear, so I may use it. Then we have 1 Lumineon and 1 Kingler V. Again, still just getting mainly just the 1, maybe the odd 2. It's a bit disappointing, but we've got a Raichu V and a Raikou V. Quite nice cards. Let me just give a quick check at the set list. I'm just seeing if there's any that I know off the top of my head that I did not get. Okay, so I believe I got one of every V in here. Okay, so that's good at least. But we have one Morpeko, two Honchkrow. So the Morpeko and the Honchkrow were cards that I was after. So I will be hunting for more of those. But next, two copies of the Mimikyu V. Nice card. Got the Whimsicott. Would have been nice to get more Whimsicott. Especially getting more of the cards that have like a VMAX or a V-Star is kind of essential. Because something like this Gramble. I got two copies of Gramble, however, wouldn't need as many copies. I would need more of stuff like Arceus here, which I got two copies, because I do that level up style mechanic into the V or V Star. But we have two jumpers here, one copy of the Aggron V, as well as two Zamazenta V, one Dracovish, and two Flygon. So they are all of the V's in the main set. So they tend to be the lowest tier people call for as pulls. So that's something that you may be interested in. But moving on to VMAXs. These are the VMAX cards. We have two copies of Mimikyu VMAX, which is a really nice card. I am definitely going to be using this, especially leading towards the next set with the Hisuian Typhlosion V-Star. That's going to work brilliantly. But it is a Regulation Mark E card, so it will be getting rotated out earlier than you might think. Then we have two copies of Kingler VMAX. These are Regulation Mark F, as well as the one copy of the Aggron VMAX. So a couple of cards getting rotated out early, the rest are staying. Big thing about the first set for a regulation is that tends to happen, is that some cards get pushed back and then have to leave early. So next we are moving on to the V-Stars. So starting off with the Shaman V-Star, got one copy. So next is the Whimsicott. I do have two copies, so would have been nice to get at least one more of the V's. But moving on to the big two, we have Charizard and Arceus at one copy each. Amazing cards, love the artworks. Not sure if I'm going to use them, simply for the fact that I don't have that many. I would potentially run them as, like, in this case, a one-off, but we'll see how that goes. So moving on to main set full arts. So the first main set full art we've got is the mascot of Pokemon itself, Pikachu V. And then we have a Whimsicott V. So I could use this in conjunction with the regular V. However, I much prefer keeping the full arts as collector's items rather than playing them. Moving on, we have a full art Barry One of the only full art trainers we got, which is a bit of a surprise, seeing we got 5 full arts from the main set out of 6 boxes, and most of them came from 1 box. Which I think, thinking back now, I only got 2 boxes with full arts, and they both came with multiple full arts in them. But we have Marnie's Pride full art. Now this looks absolutely amazing. It is centered, off-centered just a bit, but still an amazing card. And we have the Charizard V. So the interesting fact was, I'm pretty sure I got the Barry and the Charizard in the same box, and then I got the Whimsicott, Pikachu, and Marnie's Pride from the same box as well. So that is something you may be interested in looking out for. But moving on to the rainbow cards, we have 1 copy of Roseanne's Backup, 1 Cynthia's Ambition, and the Holy Grail of Brilliant Stars, Charizard V-Star. Now that is the number 1 pull from this set at the current moment. So I may keep track of that, I may not, but moving on to the gold cards. So these are the gold secret rares. So there were 6 gold secret rare cards in total. I only managed to get 1. Usually you get multiple, but I got 1 copy of Ultra Ball. Normally at this time I would say what alternate arts I got, but I got no alternate arts for the main set. So these were all just main set cards. So let's move on to the Trainers Gallery subset. So starting off with, we have Zekrom at 2 copies. Nice looking art with N run on the back of Zekrom there. Next we have 2 copies of Octillery, and then we have a full 4 copies, a full playset of the Oranguru. These are all alternate arts. These all come from different sets. I'm not completely familiar with all the sets that they come from, but I do know these are all alternates for pre-existing cards. So next we have 4 copies of Eevee. That is amazing to see. We do have 1 Vaporeon from the case break. However, I did get 1 from the Elite Trainer box, so I do have 2 in total. Next I have 3 copies of Flareon, which is really nice. And finishing off the evolutions, we have 2 copies of Jolteon. So those are all of the holo Trainers Gallery cards. These are all alternate arts, so these all count for the Alt Hunter series that I am running. So that is a good start. I have most. I am missing 3 cards from the Trainers Gallery. Sorry, 4 cards. I'm missing 4 cards in total now from the holo rare cards, which these belong to. But I got 1 Gloria full art. So that is, for some reason it was in the Trainers Gallery rather than the main set. So that is something. You got a couple of them in the Trainers Gallery that were meant to be main set cards, unless that's how they designed it from the start. But moving on, we go to the big Trainers Gallery cards. So starting off with, we have one copy of Boltund V. Such an amazing card. I personally use it in my electric deck, so I love using Boltund V, and seeing it with Sonya in the background is such an amazing thing. Then we have Sylveon V. Interesting fact about Sylveon is that I have now 3 out of the 4 alternate arts. I've got the 2 alternate arts for Sylveon from Evolving Skies, and now I have one of the 2 from Brilliant Stars. So hopefully I can get the VMAX soon. I would love that. But another big card is the Umbreon V. This is the this was also from Evolving Skies originally, and I actually have the original version of the Umbreon as an alternate art as well. So getting all the alternate arts for pre-existing alts that I have is actually quite interesting, because they do have such a different look to them. But there was 2 alternate art trainer cards. Now, I'm pretty sure these were alternate arts. We have Single Strike Mustard. So this is a much younger Mustard, back when he would have been champion. So that is a good card to get. But next, we move on to the only VMAX Altar that I got, and it was the Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. I love the fact that I got this and the Single Strike Mustard full art card. So getting all the Single Strike cards. But that was not the final tier for the Trainers Gallery. We do have some secrets in the Single Strike Urshifu VMAX Black and Gold Secret Rare. I love the black, gold and the red accents. I feel like it works really well, and it makes it so much better that I got all 3 of these Single Strike cards. And finally, the last card, which was, I'm pretty sure now, the very first pull I got for this entire this case, the Urshifu Rapid Strike VMAX Gold Secret Rare. I was a bit afraid that I might get doubles of this. I have seen people open Brilliant Stars, and this seemed very common over the Single Strike, so I'm glad I got both of them in the end. But that wraps up the recap from the case. If you were interested, I got 22 V-Star markers in total from this entire case. So, not so much 4 per box. You should get roughly 3 or 4 per box. So, in case you might want to know that. Well, that wraps up this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all next time.